Kaya, it's a heart-wrenching story, regardless of which way you look at it. But before we talk about what happened in court today, give us the history of this case.
Well, it's a very bizarre case, Kathy, indeed. So, in essence, from the 11th of December, that's when the actual altercation took place. And for some time, the mother and the daughter, they've been living together. And so there was this now fight that ensued. And we believe that the daughter was trying to take some family groceries and trying to sell some of those stuff so that she can get the money to purchase the drugs. And then suddenly and subsequently, so the mother grabbed the knife. Before she knew it, then the knife went into the daughter. And so that's how it happened. So now the burial actually took place yesterday, and the mother was in court. Kathy, you could see the emotions. The scars are still visible. She was sobbing. She was crying. It was a very short proceedings in court. And now there's this plea for the justice system to really understand that this particular mother reached a point where really the rehabs, she had tried taking the daughter to the rehab. She had tried so many means to sort of try and assist the daughter, but to no avail right up until this point.
Of course, it all comes down to that moment in itself and what has happened. So in terms of her own defense, what has the mother put before the record in those affidavits in terms of what led or how her daughter was murdered?
The mother is highlighting the predicament that a lot of mothers in her neighborhood are facing. So there's a very strong prevalence of drug abuse. And we know that at some point, former President Zuma actually came to Eldorado Park to try and address some of the underlying issues that are really exacerbating the situation. But clearly that particular intervention has not yielded the particular outcome. Kathy, I don't know if you can actually take a listen to one of the drug activists that you spoke to.
I think this case today is proof that our community has been failed. It is proof that our mothers has been failed. It is shocking for me to know that this mother went and she sought help from the highest office in this country. It is shocking for me today to stand here and be at this court because Vanolia herself reached out to the president, highlighting and clearly telling all the ministers what Eldorado Park is all about and her struggles. And today we are sitting here. We shouldn't have had this death in our community.
In terms of the state's case, what charges are they pursuing against her, and what have they put on the table in terms of what they believed has happened in this case?
So for now, from the side of the state, Kathy, they've put a murder charge. The mother is out in a 2,000 rand bail, so the matter has been postponed to the 1st of February. And it was very interesting, Kathy, just outside the court, a lot of people around this particular community came there to show their support, so throwing their weight behind the mother. So they were saying as much as the social development department has failed them in this particular case, so the community now should rally behind this particular mother because really she reached her wit's end. She didn't know what to do. And, just in terms of the circumstances, how this particular murder occurred, so she wasn't sure what was happening. She was trying to defend herself and the young daughter. And unfortunately, this particular incident happened. And also, during the course of the funeral yesterday, there was a point where she was sobbing and also just pointing to the very emotions that she went through, that as the family, they have just been through so much. And hence now the plea that she should not be sentenced, because for the longest time living with a daughter who is addicted to a drug, in a way that was a very precarious situation.
Let's talk then about what the rest of the family has to say about this, those that were in court today to support her.
They were very vociferous. They were saying, it's been very heartbreaking, especially because now this particular daughter, the deceased, there has been a lot of incidents that the mother was involved in trying to resolve in the community, because she would go around breaking in the neighborhood and sort of stealing other people's stuff so that she can be able to feed and buy the drugs. So from their side, they're really commiserating with the mother. And we know, Kathy, I mean, there has been a number of these incidents. So when you go back, for example, to 2007 in Cape Town, in Lavender Hills, so Miss Packers, she was sentenced to a 3-year sentence that was suspended, and there was a community service. So now there's a possibility that perhaps maybe the NPA and the state in this particular case, perhaps they should try to consider also the similar circumstances.
All right, let's listen to that family spokesperson.
I don't think that she should even go to jail for this. It shouldn't even be considered as far as I'm concerned, because she's already served a sentence, as I said. She's been through enough. And to top it all off, she's still gonna survive. She's still gonna live.
Any word from the judge yet in terms of the sense that he has about this case going forward?
For now, Kathy, it's very early days. Even just in terms of the proceedings today, it was very short. So there's quite a lot of investigation that must be conducted. But also, I think it's highlighting the plight of this community. So there are lots of compounding issues, socioeconomic issues, because the drug issue has always been highlighted. But now, just in terms of really getting a will, if you like, because also there was a local drug community that was saying for some time, you always had, for example, authorities coming, but it's always like a very short-lived intervention. So it doesn't have long-lasting impact in terms of, you know, just stamping out some of the pressing issues there.
And I think that the community, you know, and her family have really made that case. But of course, in a court of law, there will still be other questions that she needs to answer. But whichever way you look at it, a very tragic story indeed. Kylie Khumalo is watching that particular story for us.